you are going to want to see my shirt, so I'm showing you my shirt. Yeah, I got the Grinch on today. Just thought a little bit festive. I got over, I don't know, like a foot of snow. It's literally very deep in snow out there, so I'm not going to leave the house for the rest of the winter. I don't know about you guys. I hope everybody's doing well. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. You know, the cases of the children that we cover all the time. We often draw similarities between cases. Many of us look at the Summer Wells case, where Summer Wells was 5. She went missing from Rogersville, Tennessee. On June 15th, she was reported missing of 2021. Years later, we jump to May 2nd, going all the way out of the country to Nova Scotia, Canada, Lansdowne area, where we have 2 little children, their siblings, Jack, who would be 4, and Lilly Sullivan, who would be 6. So now Jack would be 5. And Summer, she would be 9. I think 9. Am I right? Okay. We look at the 2 cases and we see all the similarities. You know, the home life, right? It's all riddled with rugs, neglectful parents, CPS visits, nobody knowing what time it is when the child goes missing, not knowing what they're doing. The mother went quiet. When it came to Summer Wells, when the 911 call got placed and the police all showed up and all this, Candace, the mother of Summer, hid in the house, like did not come out. Yeah, I know, I'm scratching my ear too. Did I hear that right? When it comes to Jack and Lilly Sullivan, the mother Malaya, up and split within 24 hours. She was like, I'm out of here. Didn't even stay on the property and went quiet. But there's also some huge differences. And what's true in one case may not be true in the other. And that's what we're going to talk about today. You love this shirt? Looks like the shirt the Grinch wore. I know, I love it, I know a bunch of you are going to be like, let me see your shirt. So I thought, well, I'll show it to you. My hair is a giant mess today because I've been running around like a crazy person trying to get a lot done. Hey, Betty Hicks. Hi, Trisha. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Tosha Mize. Is that how I say it? Two Shamas? I'm not sure. Let me know. Hey, Tracy. Hi, Carla, Nikki, Jennifer. How are you all? Thank you for my mods for being here. They're like channel jumping with me because we have 2 channels. Both are active today, so they're like all over the place with me. We were busy last night. Hey, Tracy Hughes. Thank you, lovely. So welcome to 1111 True Crime. Mama D in the house with you. We have a live audience, as well as thank you incredibly much to my replay crew. You guys rock the house. As well as I want to say ahead of time, thank you for all the likes. That means so much to me. Thank you for subscribing if you did, as well as the hypes. You guys are hitting the hype button when you find it. I just want to say thank you for all of that. It really matters. It helps the channel out. We mainly cover, missing people cases, and a lot of them are children. So it helps to get their face out there, spread the awareness, and so forth. Now, I don't have a lot of notes, and I don't have anything to show you today. This is our interactive conversation about things, but I do have some very important points to go over. So there's those that are over here in the Summer Wells case, and then there are those that are over in the Jack and Lilly case, and then there are those of you like myself that are covering both cases, and we're looking at all of this. There is something to say about all these missing children, whether it's Sebastian Rogers, whether it's Summer Wells, or even Lilly and Jack Sullivan. CPS is involved right before they go away, right before they get gone. That's always alarming. And there is like a hidden, I'm going to call it the Summer Wells blueprint. She was the first case where we saw a mother not advocate for her child, not go hang up posters. We didn't know what to think. We were like, what is this? She hid from the cameras. She didn't want to be on interviews. She was on the Dr. Phil show and cried and literally got up and walked out in the middle because she didn't want to go through it again. Never had seen that before. Then it happened in the Sebastian Rogers case too, where the mother hides. And we're like, okay, so in Summer Wells, the mother hides and the dad does all the talking. CPS is involved. Then we get over in the Sebastian Rogers case and we're like, the mother literally clams up, doesn't do interviews, very few at least, very few, to this day. Now, Sebastian was reported missing on the 26th, but last seen on the 25th of February in Hendersonville, Tennessee. So Summer Wells and Sebastian are both from Tennessee. So there was that little pattern starting that we were like, what in the world is that? I don't know how many times you guys have said to me, and I agree, that if your child or someone you loved went missing, that you would be screaming from the rooftops, trying to get people to be like, where's my child? That you would never give up looking until you found your child. And yet we have mothers that are like, I can have more babies. I don't know if they say that or think that, but it's alarming at the way they feel and the way they behave. Then we go into the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case, like I said, from Canada. This happened this past year in May. The mother tops all the other mothers and decides to literally abandon the property within 24 hours of the children going missing. Just gone, left the county, never to return. And we all just sat there going, what is this new fad where the mothers of the missing children do not appear to give a shit that their children are missing? And we're like, how can that be? Why? Well, there's got to be something about them that's completely different than the way we're made, because you and I, we would continue to fight for them. Right. Tishamas says, I would be sleeping in the woods, I promise. I feel you. Sarah says, I think Malaya is protecting Meadow. So Malaya is Jack and Lilly Sullivan's mother, and she did have a baby at the time named Meadow. CPS now has the baby, so she's having scheduled visits. Hi, Tracy Hughes. Welcome back, lovely. Thank you for loving the channel. We love you, too. We appreciate that. So I got to thinking, so much talk has been spoken about the boot print in the Jack and Lilly Sullivan case that was found on the pipeline. Then I look at the Summer Wells case and we have a bare footprint found up on a mountain ridge about a mile and an eighth away from her property. Let's talk about the difference, because there's a huge difference. I cannot tell you how many people, and this always blows my mind, will say, I would have so much suspicion on Daniel and Malaya, and with Jack and Lilly, the case where Daniel, the partner, Malaya, the mother, and the partner, Daniel's mother, Janie, all are the three individuals that are on the property when Jack and Lilly Sullivan goes missing. And so many people say, I would really be suspicious of these three people, Daniel, Malaya, and Janie. But the children had to have walked away. They've gotten out of the search perimeter. And the way I know that, and the reason I believe that, is because of the boot print that they found a little around 2 mile mark. I can do that in the Summer Wells case. I can go for that because a 1.8, this is with Summer Wells, it's a bare footprint. It's not a boot print. That's important. I'm going to show you why. Hi, Nicola. Good to see you. Eliza. Good to see you. This idea that it's a bare footprint, it tells you something about the child. It tells you if it would fit them. It's not something another person's going to be able to reproduce. Summer Wells's footprint has her scent on it, her bodily scent on it, the aroma of the child, mile point 8 away. It's also on a very hidden place. Not anywhere near someone's house, not on a trail, but rather deep, high up on the ridge of a mountain, where the chances that it were found were slim to none, but someone actually found them on, I think it's the second time through on the search that they found the footprint, within a few days of Summer going missing. To me, being it's a bare child's footprint, it can't be replicated. Being that her scent is on that footprint, that would be very hard to replicate. Being that it's not on an ATV trail or any trail at all, but just a random place that nobody's going to find, it would be unbelievable to think that if somebody's going to plant evidence to misdirect, their chances of being successful would be almost nil, but it just happened to get found. So it's highly likely, for me, in my opinion, that that is a valid place that the child put her foot on that ground. Like, that to me is pretty solid. Her scent, her bare footprint, and this remote location that it's in, all three of those factors pinpoint to me that Summer Wells most likely put her foot on the ground in that location. Let's go over here on this side. Here's my problem. And I feel like I need to grab somebody by their ears and go, can you hear me? Because those of you that are still under the assumption, based on the boot print, that it's Jack and Lily walked away, keep in mind some things. This boot print is not a bare footprint. Therefore, if there was something nefarious that happened to the children, and let's just say, unfortunately, that they passed away, would you have the boots? Yeah, you'd have the boots and the kids. Could you redirect someone by simply putting the boot print down? Yeah, you could. Because there's a lot of gullible people out there that don't care that there's no scent, that don't care that it's a very easy to get to location. So let's talk about the boot print. It's on a pipeline that has a clearing that's long and wide. Right there with an ATV trail, easy access. The parents themselves live on a property with access to an ATV. The ATV was used by this step-grandma, Janie, in the Jack and Lily case, and Daniel, the partner to the mother, to get ahead of the helicopters, right? Daniel, the one of the people, was picked up on that pipeline near the boot print before it's found by Janie on what? The ATV. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no scent. The dogs do not pick up a scent. Coincidentally, it rained in Summer Wells' case the day before she goes missing. 0.787 inch, very, very hard, significant rain. And so therefore, that bare footprint is extremely important, because how did it get there if it rained unless it's recent? Same thing in the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. It rained the night before. So you're like, oh, how'd that boot print get there? Well, in both cases, we have adult footprints all over near the child's footprint. So how do we know in the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case that some idiot didn't get on their mother's four-wheeler and book their ass down there in the middle of the night using the trails. And don't give me this crap about, oh, well, if they did that, there'd be trail cams that pick this guy up on the four-wheeler. Because, you know, the cams along the they've got all the cams, and, like, it would have picked him up if he was on the four-wheeler traveling there. Okay, why didn't it pick up the kids walking by? Because if you look at the path they're assuming that the children took to get to that, it's the four-wheeler path. But yet we don't have children on the cam. You know, why are they not on the cam? So it's very possible, especially when that family owns almost, I'll just say most of the land in the area, hundreds of acres in the area, and they have for a very long time in the Jack and Lilly case. They're extremely knowledgeable about where the cams are. So could it have been avoided? I bet you my last dollar. So I want to know what you think. How sure are you that that boot print wasn't planted? And what are your reasons to even suggest that the boot print isn't planted? It rained the night before. It's a boot print. You know how sweaty your boots are? It should have left a scent trail. There should have been a trail to it. Not just nothing but a boot print. Now what's even more suspicious, let's talk about the two different cases again. Summer Wells. Nobody is suggesting that evidence was planted anywhere in the case. I thought about it. I know that case like the back of my hand. I never once was like, I wonder if that was planted. That little piece of evidence. It's not there. But when we go over the Jack and Lilly Sullivan case out of Canada, we have the first person to suggest anything was planted wasn't the general public. It wasn't anybody but Daniel Martell, who happens to be the partner to the mother who was on the property that night, that morning when the children went missing, who has access to the ATV. He suggested 2 sweaters of his could possibly be found. And if they were planted. They were planted to make him look like he did something to the kids. His words, not mine. Then we get to the blanket. Yeah, a little piece of a blanket that was found high up in the tree that at one time belonged to Lilly. And then as she outgrew it, it was used as something in the window, a curtain or a thing in the doorway. It was just like that. And then Daniel and his mama, Jamie, have made the claim that that blanket was actually in the bottom garbage with other bags of garbage piled on top of it in the garbage box outside their home. How did it get from the bottom, where nobody in the world would even know that blanket's there but the people that put it there, high up in a tree? Shouldn't it have the scent of the children? It don't. So then Daniel comes back and brings up that planted word again. He tells us that RCMP said the blanket is planted. Now keep in mind, at first Daniel said, no, that's not Lily's blanket. And the mother said, yes, that's my daughter's blanket. That's kind of not cool. And then we've got the RCMP telling Daniel, according to Daniel, that the blanket is suspected to be planted. What do you think Daniel's response was? Now remember, he said it wasn't the kids, and then he was like, oh, it is Lily's. Yeah, I guess Malia's right. It does. Yeah, I don't know why I said no in the beginning. It is the kid's blanket. And then Daniel listens that it could be planted. And where does he go with it? He blames Malia, the mother, and her family, suggesting that when they were out searching, that they planted the blanket out there to misdirect. Since when do we ever hear about planted evidence in a missing child's case? Oh, wait, I know. The big DM word. Daniel Martell. That's where Big moment in true crime, history made. We have a parent accusing another parent of planting evidence in a missing kids case. So, it makes you kind of wonder, could Daniel actually have planted things in the case to misdirect, since, you know, the one that smelt it dealt it? Like my bobblehead, it's shaking my whole desk. That's Daniel, bobblehead Daniel. I don't know why. But if you are basing your entire theory, concept, belief that Jack and Lily walked away from the house because of a boot print, then you are extremely gullible. Here's why. We don't know if that boot print is real or not. There's not enough evidence to back up that that legitimately had a child's foot in it. Because if it had a child's foot in it, where are the other prints around that match it? How did the child leave that place? If there's mud all around, you can see the adults all were there. But you got, you know, maybe whatever. Even if it's a cluster, even if it's quite a few, there's no other boot prints anywhere else. There's no scent on it. Who buys boots in March? You ever think of that? Like, I never bought. It's almost hard to find boots in March. Why would you buy new boots in March? Maybe your kid outgrew their boot. Maybe you had to get them. I don't know. Most parents buy their boots for their children at the beginning of winter or at the end of fall to prepare for the whole winter. So, the parents purchased the boots in March, and May 2nd, or 3rd, or was it the 3rd? It was the 3rd, May 3rd, because they reported missing May 2nd. May 3rd, they find the boot prints in Jack and Lilly Sullivan. You feel me? That boot print could have just been put there. Daniel's the one that likes to suggest that this is planted and that is planted and blah, blah, blah. Planted. But what are your thoughts? So that's what I have for you. I'm coming to you guys, letting you break this down. And we'll see what you have to say. Hey, Gray Wolf. I just looked this up. Interesting. Quote, Hawkins County, Tennessee, and the surrounding East Tennessee region, particularly near Rocky Top, formerly Coal Creek, are rich in abandoned coal mines. Both locations are rich in mines. Truly. And that is very interesting, isn't it? Make you wonder a lot when they don't go down in these mines very far and look because they're worried about their own safety. That is wild. That is wild. I'm going to back up so I can get some of your thoughts. To Seamus. That's what I had never understand was that they said it wasn't him in the car that night because cams, well, if the kids walked off, why ain't those cams? None of it makes sense. Just saying, how come they didn't catch the kids on the cam on the trail? If the kids walked the trail and left their boot print, there should be kids on the cam. Aw, thank you so much, Rach. Thank you. She says, please hit that like. And if you haven't already subscribed and tap the notification, never miss a Mama D upload or live again. Thank you muchly with sprinkles on top. Love you. Thank you, Rach. Thank you, Rach. I appreciate you. Grave Wolf says, I think someone grabbed Summer and also that Sebastian kid. You talk about Sebastian Rogers. I also don't believe either will ever be found alive, if found at all. You're not alone. You know, a lot of people do have questions if Summer was actually grabbed. She does have an Amber Alert. Amber Alerts usually mean that you have a vehicle. Somebody's at my house. Just parked in my driveway. Hold on. I know it's live, but real life too, right? Oh, okay. It's the snow removal guy with the tractor. And yes, I said tractor because we have got so much snow right now. So you might hear a big machine going in a little bit where they're taking the snow away. Moonbeam, so excited, finally caught alive. Hello everyone, absolutely love this channel. Mama D rocks, as does chat and much. Thank you, lovely. Thank you, thank you. There goes the big blue check. Shona says, what are all these mothers hiding for? Makes them all look involved, in your opinion. I agree, I agree, I agree. Eliza Doolittle says, hi mama, first time commenting, loved your channel for a long time. Aw, I'm so glad you came in and chatted with us. Nikki says, they know why, in my opinion, when they act like that. I have to agree that there's got to be some knowledge, right? Tracy says, hello all, and MD. Left my DNA on the like button. You rock, you rock, you rock. I appreciate you. Jennifer Swain says, nope, don't believe they walked away on their own. I don't either. I don't either. Nina in the house. Good to see you, lovely. Good to see you. Yes, yes, to Seamus, they did find Summer's print. They found 2 or 3, 2 for sure. One behind Mary Sexton's property up on the ridge with the scent. It was barefoot, about 1.1 miles, I believe, away from her home. So there's a huge difference between a bare footprint that has the child's scent on it in a remote location versus a very well-traveled, easy access, clear-cut area with, like I said, ATV trails, big to me, where it's nothing but a boot print that has no scent on it, nothing. And you got the parent, well, not parent, because Daniel's not really a parent. He was the mother's boyfriend at best, claiming all this planted material in the case, right? Grey Wolf says, or asks, are there any old abandoned coal mines up there in Hawkins County? Oh, I'm sure there is. Absolutely positive. I've heard of a few. Shauna says, I think the boot print, meaning Lilly and Jack Sullivan. I think the boot print was planted, no scent, no sight, no truth. See, that's what I'm saying. And you have people literally that are like, well, you know, if it weren't for the boot print, I'd be suspicious of Daniel. Man, I'll tell you, he sure does drive me nuts sometimes because I'm like, man, what are you doing? This is something weird. But I know about that boot print with Lily and Jack over there. No scent on it. I know. And really, there's nothing leading up to it. And there's a whole bunch of footprints around it. I know it's on the ATV trail. Yeah, I know Daniel was on that ATV, whether he was riding on the hood of it or his mama was driving him. And I can see Jamie, Daniel, you gotta get off and actually put the boot print there. Right? That's the kind of energy she would have. I know all that, but you know what? Thank God there's a boot print because I just know them kids walked out of the search area then. Well, good luck. Good luck. Because that could have very easily, and until you can prove me otherwise, I'm just going to call it a red herring, which is an actual intentional misdirection. And you fell for it. You fell for it. That means RCMP, that means searchers, and that means a lot of wasted time when the children are most likely in a completely different direction. But, you know, you just can't fix some people that absolutely get locked into something, and there are those people, and there are those creators that unless the police tell them that or the RCMP knock on their door and tell them face to face, they just aren't going to accept it. They're not into it. And yet they will say, well, I know that they kept that information close to their vest That makes sense. We're not going to know most of what goes on in the investigation because they keep it close to their vest. Well, if they keep it all so close to their vest, why is it that you think that the only information that's true is the information that you're hearing off of big time media? When over time we have learned, we have seen it, we know on YouTube streets quicker than the mainstream media. And by the way, ooh shakalaka ooh, it all boils down to the things that sometimes we get tips on turn out to be true. All this time, and this is horrific but true, terrible, gives me great concern, especially if you watched my last video, which was all about all kinds of stuff of bruising and so forth. And I showed you that picture of Lilly, and I showed you what appears to be her inner thigh, all of it, all of her inner thigh with a super huge, deep bruising. Could be a knee on the inner thigh of a 6-year-old little girl. Could be. But I told you, and everybody up to this point didn't believe me but a handful, that in this search, it was leaked to me that bloody undies were found and that they were little girls. Well, lo and behold, the PI had it on her little thing. She had a write-up where she took the picture and she put the information down on the side, and it came up on the DT show. Well, guess what? She brings up the bloody panties, and she's got a little excerpt about it. So I damn sure know I'm right, that they did. I don't know if they're connected to this case or not. I just know when they were looking for Lilly and Jack that that was what was allegedly found. Now we have all this other information coming through suggesting that, this shirt with blood on it, allegedly, which we have no idea if it's blood or not. It's stained shirt that belongs to Woo, or what's his name? What's his name, guys? Brad Woo? I can't remember his last name. I got a blank. Anyway, it's his kids, and it was in his burn pile at his own property, and it's wound up when they just went back and recently did a search for Jack and Lilly, the Bring Me Home people. They find what looks like this little baby package. It's this shirt that has stains on it that's wrapped up and swaddled in a blue bath mat, which the bath mat doesn't belong to Brad Woo Woo, but the shirt belongs to his kids. So somebody took the shirt and wrapped it in this bath mat, which has a stain on it about like that, that's kind of brownish red, which could be blood. It's wrapped up and it's just placed somewhere. And we're all like, is that planted too? How does Brad Woo Woo's daughter's shirt end up in what? And it's always about Lilly and Jack is people are like, who's planting all of this? But yet when it comes to Lilly and Jack's boot print that nobody has a scent on, they act like if something nefarious happened to these kids, that the attackers or the perpetrators wouldn't have access to the children's boots. And I'm like, what? You know what? And you're like, well, here's another thing I love hearing. They're not criminal masterminds. Okay, Daniel's the one that brought up that somebody else could have planted his 2 sweaters, which now he says he found, by the way. How convenient. But before he said he found them, he's like, somebody planted them sweaters to frame me that something happened with the kids. And we were all like, are you saying that you're pretty sure something bad happened to the kids, or otherwise why would you be framed? Aren't your kids just missing? Well, there's your criminal mastermind suggesting that things are planted. So he had the idea before us Tell you something? He had the idea of planting before you, before me, and guess what? We have a boot print, no scent. The boots were not even purchased till a few weeks, maybe a couple months before these kids went missing. New boots. Come on. Come on. Doesn't 1111 True Crime Private Eye sound good? Yes! Oh, that's right, that's right, that's right. Let me go up. Who do we have? Carla. Carla Burgeon is love this channel. We've moved. We have 2026 coming in. Long time ago, way back, like 4 or 5 years ago, I think 5 years ago, we started our channel. And I got membership and I named you guys Starlights. But it never really fit our true crime. And so now you are officially Private Eyes. Boom, ba boom, you love it? I love it too. And with that, we're going to be doing member live chats each week on Fridays. We will share it with the public, but the chat itself will be given to our private eyes. All right? So I'm very excited. And Carla, thank you for the snooper chat on PayPal. And Merry Christmas, darling. Thank you so much. That was so loving and kind of you. And thank you for being a private eye for 16 months. You're amazing. You really are. That's my love exploding, by the way, when I do that. Do you guys like you love the new thing? Yay, private eyes. You love it? Excellent. I just feel it's a lot more suiting to you, and that's what I felt. Jennifer thought so too. Question says, while I stopped following the case, but similar stuff was said in Summer Wells' case by people. I'm just saying, we wondered about Summer Wells. Was it planted? Was the bare footprint in the Summer Wells case, where she's only 5 years old and the dog scent of tracked Summer to the end of her driveway and then gone, suggesting that it's possible Summer Wells was put into a vehicle and poof, gone. And then 1.5 miles away on some mountain ridge behind some old relative of her father's that don't even talk, and now Mary Sexton's passed away, on a ridge in the middle of a remote area is Summer Wells' footprint, her bare footprint, with the child's scent on it. That I can buy. That I can be like, wow, that really does. What in the heck? Did they pick her up by car or horse? Or did they pick her up by a four-wheeler? Did they grab her some way? I think if it'd be an open thing like a horse or a four-wheeler, the scent would have still kept going. So I almost feel like it had to be an enclosed vehicle. That's my gut feeling. But it makes you wonder, did they just travel along till they got so far and then take her in another transportation way, such as on a horse, and possibly set her down for a minute? Make you wonder, doesn't it? Yeah, it's really strange. It's just strange to me. I'm reading chat. Yep, we are no longer Starlights, even though I love that name too. It's not so true crimey. It was either Private Eyes or True Crime Junkies, and I don't want any of you feeling like junkies, so I'm like, Private Eyes it is. Aw, Prime Candy said Bubba's sleeping, tiptoes out. We gotta be quiet, the baby's sleeping. The baby's sleeping. Hi, Nicola. Zoe Thompson, hello. Good to see you. So, it really does boil down to this whole idea that in the Jack and Lily case, you have this father figure, because he's not the father, he's not even the stepdad, just the boyfriend that doesn't seem to be worth shit, in my opinion. Anyway, suggesting that this is planted, that is planted, maybe they planted my sweaters, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that blanket's planted. The RCMP said the blanket's planted. These are missing children. You're obsessed with things being planted, which tells me a lot that was on your mind before ours. We have the boot print with no scent. I think it's a wild card. I think it's a wild goose chase. There's just no way that Jack and Lily walked away on their own. No. Also, if we were to follow the path that they took, they would have had to cross a main road. They'd be on a four-wheeler trail to get to that boot print. How'd their blanket get in that other area? Are you telling me that they looped all that way around and nobody saw them in the middle of the morning, in the middle of the day with traffic and school buses? And I know it's a rural area, but they're still neighbors. We've looked at them all. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Liam, one thing I don't miss. Hey, Greeneville, how are you, lovely? You're cleaning out cat boxes? I'm glad I don't smell it. Spare time. That's all I want to know. Where are these children? Time to speak up. Truly, truly, truly. And now, I'm not going to kid you. I'm just going to give it to you straight as always. Daniel Martell has now had another accident. Not the one where he raped, he just got done, like, flipping Janie's car. Right? Flipping it. Now he's done it again. Like, I have no way to tally up all the cars. And it's not like I'm exaggerating. It's car after car after car after car. It's every few months. Daniel has had a massive accident. He's got broken ribs this time, according to Drunk Turkey Show. What does that have to do with missing Lilly and Jack Sullivan? I have no idea. And now DT is coming out saying that he's about to release information that is yet to come, that he's looking for a little bit more confirmation, validation on, that will tell us why Malaya left Daniel. Y'all, do we need a rocket scientist or Malaya to tell us why she left Daniel? Could you tell me? I would rather you do a video on why Malaya stayed with Daniel as long as she did. She was already trying to leave Daniel. We know that because Patty, her grandmother, got a hold of Durwood O'Grady, right? And was like, can you help get Malaya out of there because it's looking really bad. It ain't looking good. And Durwood O'Grady's like, I'm not getting involved with that. That's family stuff. I ain't getting involved with that. But yet, Durwood O'Grady will go ahead and get online and get deep in their business when these kids are missing and he wasn't there allegedly, and give us an entire story and like get on the news and tell his version. I've never in my life seen interviews with people in missing kids cases where the person wasn't even there at the time the kids went missing and they got an interview and it mattered. But Durwood O'Grady did. No. That's how I feel, Carla. Enough is enough. Where the hell are these children? We don't have to buy the scenario just because somebody else plants it in our head that we know for a fact that that's Lily and Jack's boot prints out there on the pipeline, blah, blah, blah. Where's the scent? It rained the night before. That means something, okay? If it had rained during the time of the boot print, it could dissipate some of it. But it rained the night before. So it technically, if you want to stick to your own rules, could suggest that sure, that could be Lily and Jack's boot print, but if we follow that theory, it would suggest it's from the night before the rain, because the rain would have quelched the scent that is actually missing of the children. But if we go the other way, that the boot print was after the rain, that moisture would have like incubated the aroma of the stinky little feet of kids. And I'm thinking of stinky feet and boots, right? After walking a couple miles. But there's no scent. I can't do that. Tricia says RCMP has evidence that they wandered off. Just saying, in my opinion. I would love to know what it is. Passion Flower says, did police ever take them in for interrogation? Both Daniel and Malaya have been questioned multiple times. The other thing, I hear all these other people suggest that they would have Malaya's car because it was used on the trip with the kids the day before, and because Daniel used it to search for the kids and blah, blah, blah. And so the GPS and all this information would have been gotten from the car. Mind you, I don't care where the GPS took these people in that car. It was never checked with a cadaver dog. How about that one? How about both of those kids could have technically passed in that vehicle and been left in a tote overnight even. But we wouldn't know because that vehicle was never truly inspected. It was looked at to see if children were there. That was it. Because it got towed to an impound yard. Malaya deserted the car and it got towed away. And they were not looking for evidence because it's not a criminal case. They were looking for missing kids. And so Malaya's car went under the radar. I just don't think it was checked out. I don't think that there is GPS on that car. I mean, I think there is. I think they could get it. I just don't feel with them constantly saying it's not a criminal investigation that they're doing a criminal investigation. If they're doing a criminal investigation, then by golly, they got the GPS. But if we're going with what they're telling us as RCMP, that it's not a criminal investigation, I highly doubt that they went that level. They're still trying to find where the kids walked off from a boot print that doesn't have any scent at all, even though it rained the night before, which would help preserve the scent of the children. I've heard right off of DT's show that the dog handler says, we love water because water locks the scent in. Well, it rained the whole night before. So why were the children scent not on their own boot print? BBB, hello lovely. If those children wandered off, there would have been a pop more than one boot print in your opinion. Agreed. Tricia says Google Images uploaded August 2025 shows the kids exploring near the power line. Just saying, in my opinion. Oh, I'd have to see something like that. That would be wild. That would have made it all over the internet. And maybe it is true and we just haven't seen it yet. Jennifer says, I think me, Carla, and Debbie are the only statesiders. Love, my UK family and other international friends. Yeah, that is true, Sarah. They're not much more than babies themselves. Jack is still in a pull-up. That's wild. Yeah, it's cold and dark and they don't take their coats. I don't see it. I agree with Carla. There's just no way those kids wandered off. Podcast Queen, welcome back, my beautiful. I don't see these two children wandering off by themselves. I'm in agreement with you. And you say that the parents are shady as F, in your opinion. I agree with that too. You and I are on the same thing. Sarah England, Deaf Liam, says it's been a wild goose chase from the beginning, in my opinion. So, I mean, when it really comes to the Summer Wells case versus Jack and Lilly Sullivan's case, both cases are absolutely heartbreaking. 3 children, 6 years old and under, never accounted for, never found at this point. The mothers not seeming to care, just moving on with their lives, not giving interviews, not advocating for their children. The dads talk and talk and talk. Well, I don't know if you can call Daniel dad, but you know what I'm saying. The father figure in the home at the time, running their mouths off and constantly full of contradictions, making crap up, stringing along the social media and the YouTube, but never getting anywhere in the case, just throwing red herrings left and right and dot, 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 dot. It just makes you wonder when Daniel himself is the first one to suggest planting in that case, and continues to the last time he talked about how other things could be planted in the case, such as the blanket, the water bottle. But he never suggests that the boot print is planted. Why? Make you wonder. Well, lovelies, I have that's what I have for you today. I wanted to get it off my chest that I just personally have a hard time believing 100% that boot print isn't planted in the Jack and Lilly Sullivan case. There's too many what? And now we've got this newest evidence that everybody's asking, was it planted too? Why would Brad Wong, there it is, I called him Woo Woo. Why would Brad Woo Woo Wong, why would his daughter's clothing be wrapped up in somebody else's bath mat, neatly and tightly like swaddling a baby, and planted, just placed in a certain spot so that the searchers would find it? You tell me, because I don't have the answers. Right, Jennifer Swain. Daniel never makes eye contact when he's being interviewed. He does this, right? Yeah. Jack and Lily. It's sad. It's sad. It all is acting. And it is weird. It is weird, Nina. It is weird. And yes, thank you to our beautiful mods. You girls, you ladies are incredible. I want to say thank you to every one of you. You've made this past year amazing. And we're looking for a bright new year. And I want to say thank you to all my private eyes out there. And until we get together again, I hope you stay safe. I hope you stay warm. And stay sane, because these cases will just drive you crazy. If you do want to continue on with us, we will be going over in a little while over to Crime Story Mama. I'll give you a little break to go get a snack, maybe your favorite drink, your favorite blanket or bracelet, whatever you need. And I will see you again very soon. I want to say again, thank you so incredibly much for hitting that like button. You guys rock for just pounding that hype button, because YouTube keeps sending me messages every week saying, the hype button got hit so hard, right? And I'm like, wow, thank you. You guys bless me with so many wonderful things. And you continue to allow me to come to you and spread the awareness for these little missing people. Whether it's Summer Wells, Sebastian Rogers, Lily or Jack Sullivan, or the others that are missing or without a voice. And that is my life path. And that's what I love to do, is to feel like we're keeping their name out there. Face it, if we don't put the pressure on the RCMP or on the police force, whether it's TBI or FBI or whoever, these cases disappear and they're forgotten, believe it or not. So you've done a fantastic job, and make sure and pat yourself on the back. I love you. To the moon and back. See you again very soon. Bye for now.